Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today's main event is Battle of the Heavyweights, and we've got two amazing e-bikes that we're going to put head to head. So what are they? Well, in the red corner we have the Specialized Kenevo Expert, and in the blue corner we have the Commencal Metapower SX Race. We've had both these bikes for a few months, so we're going to tell you what we like, what we dislike, and we're going to use a point system to allocate the good and the bad. I'm going to win. Okay, no, I won't cheat, I promise. So, let's fight! Time for the weigh-in. So, we have the Commencal weighing in at 26.4 kilos. Hurry up! Time to weigh the Specialized. And that's the Kenevo weighing in at 23.9 kilograms. So I think that's a point for the Specialized. For the footage on this video, Dec is riding his Commencal Meta and I'm on the Specialized Kenevo. As we already saw from the weigh-in, the Kenevo was around 2 kilograms lighter than the Metapower SX. Some of this may be down to the SX being a size large with a coil shock and also having cush core tyre inserts, but you can feel a significant weight difference, particularly on the front end. So that's one up to the Kenevo. In terms of the frames, both are aluminium frames with quite similar geometry. However, the Kenevo does have 180mm of travel out back, compared to 165 on the Metapower SX. Having more travel on a downhill oriented e-bike is always going to be a good thing, so that's a point for the Kenevo. On to what could be our most contentious round, and that's to compare the forks. The Kenevo comes with the RockShox Boxer Select 180mm triple clamp fork, and these are seen on most downhill bikes and really give you a clear indicator what the Kenevo is designed to do. They perform unbelievably well and give you an unreal sense of confidence when riding the bike. The Metapower SX comes with the new RockShox Zeb Ultimate, also at 180mm of travel. With 38mm stanchions, this is a really burly and capable super enduro type fork and also provides loads of confidence and stability. The Zeb Ultimate feels amazing and looks pretty cool too. However, I'm going to award the points in this hotly contested round to the Kenevo, as it just looks badass and feels even better. Phew. Time to get the breath back after that tough round. On to round 4, and that's about the shock. The Kenevo I got came with the RockShox Super Deluxe Select Air Shock, even though most of the ones advertised on the bike I test rode have a coil shock. I've read reports online about coil shocks failing on the Kenevo due to lateral flex. However, I have to say that I loved the coil shock on the Kenevo I test rode. The Metapower SX does come with a RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate Coil, with a size large coming with a 400-pound spring. This is an excellent shock and gives the bike a really planted feeling, absorbing all but the biggest of hits. I'm slightly jealous that this isn't on my bike. I would have stolen it by now if I could, but it won't fit. That's going to have to be a point to the Metapower SX. On to brakes. Both bikes come with SRAM Code R brakes, and these brakes are decent enough. However, the Metapower SX came with 220 rotors, and these just seem to give the bike a bit more stopping power than the Kenevo. I'm still not in love with these brakes, however, so we'll probably change them in the future. In the meantime, I'm going to have to give the points to the Commencal due to the larger rotors. On to the most important part of an e-bike, and that's the motor. The Kenevo comes with a Specialized Bros 2.1 motor that generates a massive 90 Nm of torque. It's an extremely powerful and silent motor and has given me no trouble at all. The Metapower SX comes with a new Shimano EP8, which also generates a huge 85 Nm of torque, and while it's quiet on the climbs, it does have a bit of a rattle going down. You do get used to this very quickly, and if it was the only issue with this motor, that would be fine. However, after less than a month, the motor packed up with a fatal E010 error and had to be sent back to Shimano for a replacement. Commencal were great to deal with on this, I have to say, and we weren't without the motor for too long. We did need to buy a special tool to remove and reinstall the chainring, however, when we were getting to the motor. The other issue with the EP8 is it started to make a bit of a weird clunking noise from time to time, and this is only after about 6 months of use. So, with the Bros motor being more powerful and more reliable, I think that's going to have to be a point to the Kenevo. Along with the more powerful motor on the Specialized comes a bigger battery. The Kenevo has a massive 700 watt-hour battery that I've only managed to drain once. If you want to see how I managed that, you can tune in to the video I did with Dan Wolf. The SX comes with a 630 watt-hour battery, and for some reason doesn't seem to last nearly as long as the Specialized. It also seems to drop the last 2 out of its 5 bars really quickly. So that's a point to the Kenevo. I weigh just over 50 kilograms and deck around 80 kilograms, so we decided to do some tests on some pretty steep uphill fire roads that are pretty tough to even walk up and that we tend to avoid when we are not on the e-bikes. We do film in Superview on the GoPro generally, so the footage does not do the steepness justice. But trust me, it definitely is steep. So to make things fair, I'm going to go on the Commencal boost mode again for both of us in the same gear. We'll see what happens this time. So you can see from the test that weight of the rider does make a difference, and that I was able to match the Kenevo just about while I was on the Commencal. But overall, I think the Kenevo deserves the points. In terms of the display, the Kenevo comes with an integrated type display on the top tube that's pretty decent. But if you want to get any more information other than how much battery you have left or what mode you are in, you'll need to download the Mission Control app. On the Commencal, it comes with a Shimano display unit mounted neatly on the handlebars, and the cables for it are tucked away through smartly integrated handlebars. The display lets you see a bunch of things like your speed, how far you've travelled, your cadence, and to flip between different profiles, where Profile 1 has less power in each of the 3 modes and helps conserve battery life. The walk mode on the Commencal is also really reliable and easy to engage, whereas I found that the walk mode on the Kenevo is a bit inconsistent. Display and walk mode might seem like small things, but they do make a big difference, so that's a point to the SX. While on the subject, the motor guards on both bikes have had to be replaced. The one on the Kenevo is made of really cheap plastic and broke on the very first ride. The one on the SX is slightly better but smashed pretty quickly too. Both bikes now have motor protectors from Amigos, and these do a brilliant job of keeping your motor safe from rocks and logs. Both bikes come with a SRAM GX drivetrain, and shifting is really smooth on both bikes. The Commencal comes with a 12-speed setup. However, the Kenevo has an 11-speed. Specialized say that this is because you don't really need it on a more downhill oriented bike. And I can't say that I've ever needed the 12-speed setup either. However, more is better, right? I'll reluctantly give the point to the Metapower SX. Now, onto wheels. Pretty important for any bike really. Both bikes come with 27.5 wheels and they allow the bikes to feel playful and manoeuvrable. I'm not sure 29ers would work on these bikes. The Kenevo comes with Roval DH aluminium wheels, and these are reliable and have stayed true, despite a lot of abuse. They come with DT Swiss hubs, and the bike ships with tubeless valves and inner tubes, which I've now swapped out and made tubeless. Overall, a solid package. The SX Race comes with E13 E-Spec wheels and hubs, and I have to admit this setup is not very good. Deck dented both the front and rear wheel pretty quickly, and in one spin all the spokes on the rear wheel came loose. The last straw for him was when the rim collapsed after a slow speed collision with a tree. Don't ask me how he managed to do that. These wheels have now been replaced with DT Swiss EX511 rims with Hope Pro 4 hubs and Cushcore tyre inserts. There hasn't been an issue with them since. The Metapower signature does come with the better wheels than the SX Race. However, we didn't have that bike to compare, so can only go with what we have. The fact then that the wheels have had to be replaced on the SX means that it's going to be a point to the Kenevo. On to tyres. The Kenevo comes with Specialized Butcher 2.6s front and back with black diamond casing, and this has proven to be really reliable, stable, hard wearing and grippy. I was really surprised with how good these tyres are, and I don't think I'll change them to another brand anytime soon. The SX Race comes with a brilliant Magic Mary up front and Big Betty out back. Both are great tyres and come in the Super Gravity casing. This would have been a point to the SX except for the fact that these tyres came as 2.4s, so the front one had to be swapped for a 2.6, which made the bike feel way better. That's a reluctant point to the Kenevo. The Kenevo Expert comes with a specialised command post dropper post with 160mm of travel. This is a decent post, although it does make a bit of a clicking noise when you drop it. I thought it was broken when I went to use it first. The Commencal comes with a Kind Shock Lev SI post with 175mm travel and is a very smooth and reliable post. The fact that the maximum size on the Kenevo post is 160mm, even on the larger size bikes, may be an issue for taller riders. It's fine for me, but in this case, I think I'll award the points to the Metapower for increased travel and smoothness of operation. Let's talk about cranks. Okay, this may seem like a fairly random area to cover, and the Kenevo's Praxis 165mm cranks are great. Here the Commencal takes a bit of a body blow, as the E13 cranks that come with the bike are not fit for purpose in my opinion. The left crank fell off twice and the right crank fell off once, and this was after being tightened to the manufacturer's recommended torque. This is potentially very dangerous. I've heard reports and witnessed this same behaviour with these cranks and the EP8 motor combination on the Orbea Rise when I did a test ride of that bike too. We've since replaced these with Shimano cranks, which cost just over €40 and have stayed on just fine. That's a big point to the Kenevo. Now, on to price. The Kenevo Expert comes in at €7,854, whereas the Metapower SX Race is priced at €6,600, so that's an easy point for the SX. The Kenevo has a lifetime warranty on the frame and 2 years on the components, while the Metapower SX has 5 years on the frame and 2 years on the components. The fact that specialised stores will honour your warranty even if you bought the bike online or in another country is a big bonus. And although the customer service provided by Commencal is brilliant, there is nothing quite like having local support should something go wrong, particularly with an electrical component. That's a grudging point to the Specialised. As these are both aimed at the downhill or super gravity end of the market, both bikes have similar geometries and handling and are extremely fun to ride. We'll call that round a draw at a point apiece. Now, on to the little things. Well, the Kenevo comes with a free SWAT multi-tool which is contained in a holder in the bottle cage, and a quick link and chain tool in the stem. These are very clever touches. The Meta Power comes with Commencal own brand pedals, which are actually pretty decent flat pedals, though they have been replaced. So overall, that's a point to the Kenevo. So, after a grueling match of 17 rounds, we have the Kenevo coming out on top with 9 points and the Meta Power SX Race at 7 points. If I was to compare the SX to the Kenevo Comp, then the SX would probably come out on top, or it would be fairly even due to the bigger battery, awesome Zeb fork and better gears on the SX. Both of these are amazing bikes, and I've really enjoyed riding both of them and had a lot of fun taking them to places I probably shouldn't. Thank you so much for watching, and for those of you who have already subscribed, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because your support makes all the difference making these videos, and I really appreciate it. And at the end of the day, it won't cost you a penny. If you have any comments, leave them below, because I do read them all. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.